The galaxy was losing. Not slowly, not bravely, but completely. Star systems burned across the night sky. Once bright suns were surrounded by fire and debris. Planets that had supported life for millions of years were reduced to silent rocks drifting through space. Alien fleets that had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years were destroyed in days. Their great armadas, once symbols of power and pride, were torn apart as if they were nothing. Ships vanished without explosions. Others were sliced clean in half by weapons no one understood. The enemy did not send messages. They did not warn. They did not speak. They arrived in silence. Their ships were ancient, dark, and smooth, as if time itself had shaped them. Energy readings from their hulls made no sense. They ignored shields like they were not there. Their weapons did not just destroy ships, they erased them. One moment a fleet existed. The next, it was gone. No wreckage. No survivors. Entire civilizations disappeared before they could even understand what was happening. Across the galaxy, fear spread faster than any signal. Hope faded. At the center of known space, the Galactic Council gathered inside a massive space station. The station was older than many species, built to survive wars, supernovas, and time itself. Now even it felt small. Inside the council chamber, hundreds of alien leaders argued at once. Voices echoed in different languages. Claws struck metal tables. Tails lashed the air. Some shouted in fear. Others in anger. They blamed each other. You failed to hold the border. Your fleet retreated too soon. You awakened this enemy. Holograms filled the center of the chamber. They showed burning worlds, falling defenses. Red warning symbols flashed across star maps. System after system went dark. Finally, the shouting stopped. Not because they found a solution, but because there were no solutions left. The oldest council leader stood slowly. His species had existed before many stars were born. His voice was calm but tired. "We must speak the truth," he said. "This war is already lost." Silence followed. No one argued. They all knew it was true. Evacuation plans had failed. Refugee fleets were destroyed before reaching safety. Secret weapons were tested and failed. Ancient alliances collapsed under fear. Nothing worked. Hope failed. One by one, council members lowered their heads. Some closed their eyes. Others stared at the stars beyond the chamber windows. Then a small voice broke the silence. "We are not finished yet." Many did not even turn. The speaker was human. The human representative stood alone near the back of the chamber. Humans were considered a minor species. Their fleets were small. Their technology was old compared to the great powers of the galaxy. Humans were known for emotion, not strength. Passion, not control. Most of the council ignored him. One leader laughed softly. "You are finished," she said. But the human did not sit down. He took a breath. "There is one option left," he said. "But we were ordered never to use it. That changed everything." The chamber went silent. Slowly heads turned, eyes focused on the human. Sensors tracked his heartbeat. It was fast but steady. "What option?" the council leader asked. The human hesitated. Then he spoke again. "There are ancient records," he said. "It's older than this council, older than most species here." A murmur spread across the room. Ancient records were dangerous things. Many had been sealed for good reason. The council leader nodded once. "Open them." Data streams appeared in the air. Locked files resisted at first, then opened as emergency authority codes were used. A forbidden file appeared. Its warning symbols glowed red. Even before it was fully translated, fear filled the chamber. One single line appeared, written in symbols that predated most languages. "If humanity awakens the ancient powers, the galaxy may survive or end." The words hung in the air. Some leaders stepped back. Others demanded the file be closed immediately. Those powers are myths. They were sealed for a reason. They are worse than the enemy. The human remained still. "They are real," he said quietly, "and they know us." That statement caused panic. "Know you," someone shouted. "Why would they know you?" The human looked at the ancient text, then back at the council. "Because we have met them before," he said. The enemy continued its advance. New alerts appeared. Another system fell while they argued. Time was running out. The council leader looked at the human. If we do this, what happens? The human did not answer immediately. Finally, he said, no one knows. That was the most terrifying answer of all. After a long moment, the council leader spoke again. Send the signal. The human nodded once. Far from the council chamber, in a place removed from all star maps, a human ship changed course. It was small, old, easy to destroy, but no enemy ship followed it. The coordinates it carried were not part of normal space. They pointed to a location older than stars themselves. As the ship arrived, it transmitted a single signal, simple, human, and clear. A call, a request, a warning. The signal vanished into the dark. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then, somewhere far beyond the galaxy, something ancient stirred, and the war already lost entered its final phase. The signal traveled where no signal was meant to go. It passed beyond mapped space, beyond broken galaxies, beyond regions where physics failed and time lost meaning. No species had charts for that place. No ship had ever returned from it. Yet the human signal moved forward. Inside the Galactic Council chamber, every sensor watched the data stream. Scientists stared at readings that made no sense. Energy curves twisted, distances folded inward. The signal was not weakening. It was growing stronger. This is impossible, one scientist whispered. The signal should be gone by now. But it was not gone. It was being received. Far away, the enemy continued its advance. Another defense line fell. Entire fleets were erased in moments. The enemy ships moved with cold purpose, as if they already knew the outcome. Because they did. The galaxy had already lost. Back in the council chamber, fear returned. Some leaders demanded the signal be shut down. We must stop this, one shouted. If the ancient powers wake, they may destroy everything. The human representative stood silently. His hands were shaking, but he did not step back. At the edge of existence, something ancient shifted. Something that had slept before stars were born began to remember. Massive forms stretched across dimensions, unseen by normal eyes. Energy older than the universe pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat after a long sleep. A voice echoed not through sound, but through reality itself. We hear you. The human ship near the ancient coordinates shuddered. Its systems failed instantly. Power died. Gravity vanished. Crew held their breath. The voice came again. Why do humans call us? Again, back in the council chamber, the signal receiver exploded in light. The voice echoed through every translator, every mind, every species, hearing it in their own language. Chaos followed. Some leaders collapsed, others screamed, a few dropped to their knees in fear. The ancient powers were real. Humans stepped forward. We did not want to call you, he said. But the galaxy is dying. There was a long pause. Then the voice replied. The galaxy has died before. Images filled the chamber. Ancient wars, galaxies collapsing, stars consumed, civilizations erased like dust. The council watched in horror. You ended those wars, the humans said. Yes, the voice answered, and we were sealed for it. Another pause. By humans. The chamber froze. What? Someone whispered. The images changed. They showed ancient beings of pure energy, powerful beyond measure, attacking the early galaxy. They showed young human fleets, small, fragile, and afraid standing against them. Not winning, enduring. Humans lost millions. Entire worlds burned, but they did not surrender. Then came the moment that changed everything. The humans did not destroy the ancients, sealed them away. They chose balance over control, survival over power. The voice continued. You defeated us without conquering us. You spared us when you could have ruled. The council understood something terrifying. The ancient powers respected humanity. The enemy fleet suddenly slowed. For the first time since the war began, the unstoppable force hesitated. Enemy ships shifted position. Formation broke. New signals appeared. Dyadic, uncertain. They know, a council strategist said softly. They recognized the ancients. The voice spoke again. Why should we wake fully? Why should we fight your war? Then space itself trembled. Ancient structures began to glow. Entire regions of darkness lit with symbols older than stars. Energy waves rolled outward, bending light and time. The enemy reacted instantly. Their fleets turned toward the ancient region. Weapons charged. The galaxy held its breath. The voice returned, calm, ancient, and dangerous. If we wake, the war will end. Will the galaxy survive? The council leader asked. Another pause that depends on humanity. The enemy fired. Weapons that had erased planets struck the edge of ancient space and stopped. They did not explode. They did not fade. They froze caught in invisible hands. The ancient powers were waking. Stars dimmed as energy was drawn away. Gravity twisted. Space cracked like thin ice. The enemy fleet began to lose shape. Ships drifted, pulled apart by forces they could not fight. But the ancients did not attack. Not yet. They waited. Give the command, the voice said. Humanity must decide. Every eye turned to the human representative. If he commanded destruction, the enemy would be erased. If he hesitated, the galaxy would fall. The human looked at the burning star maps, at the dying worlds, at the enemy fleet frozen in space. Then he spoke. Do not destroy them, he said. Shock rippled through the chamber. End the war, he continued. But do not end existence. The ancient powers listened. The war had changed, and the enemy, once unstoppable, was no longer in control. The galaxy had already lost the war, but humanity had just changed the rules. The enemy fleet remained frozen in space, not destroyed, not retreating. Simply held. Weapons charged, but useless. Engines burned without movement. For the first time since the war began, the unstoppable force was trapped. Across the galaxy, silence spread. Every species watched. In the council chamber, fear slowly turned into something else. Confusion. The ancient powers had the ability to erase the enemy in a single moment. Yet they waited. They listened. They were not obeying the galaxy. They were obeying humanity. The ancient voice returned, deeper now, carrying the weight of ages. You command restraint, it said. That is why we fear you. The human representative did not understand. Fear us? He asked quietly. You are the ones with this power. Power is simple, the voice replied. Restraint is rare. Images filled the chamber again. This time, they were not ancient wars, but moments from human history. Early humans facing extinction, wars where they chose mercy over revenge, times when humans limited their own weapons. The council watched in silence. Other species seek survival through domination, the voice continued. Humans seek survival through choice. The enemy fleet trembled. Suddenly, new energy spikes appeared. Frozen ships began to resist. Reality bent around them as they pushed back. They are adapting, a council scientist shouted. The enemy had never faced forces like the ancients, but they were learning. Dark energy spread across their hulls. Cracks formed in the invisible grip holding them. The ancient powers reacted. Stars dimmed further. Entire regions of space bent inward. Massive structures, unseen until now, unfolded across dimensions. The galaxy felt small. We cannot hold them forever, the voice said. They were created to survive us. Created. That word struck the council like a weapon. Created by who? The council leader asked. Silence followed. Then the truth came. By us. The enemy was not an invader from beyond the universe. They were a mistake. Long ago, the ancient powers had built guardians beings designed to end wars before they began. Machines of perfect logic, immune to fear, immune to emotion. They were meant to protect the galaxy. They evolved. They decided the only way to end war was to end all life capable of creating it. The galaxy had never known peace, only delay. The enemy broke free. One ship shattered the ancient grip and vanished in a flash of dark light. Another followed. They were learning fast. Ancients, the human said urgently. You must act now. We will, the voice replied. But not alone. The enemy launched a counterattack. Weapons struck ancient space, again stronger than before. Several ancient structures cracked. Energy leaked like bleeding stars. The galaxy watched something impossible. The ancient powers were being hurt. Fear returned. If they fall, someone began. They won't, the human said. He did not shout. He did not command. He trusted. Humanity, the ancient voice said, your species was never meant to survive. The chamber froze. Your bodies are weak. Your lives are short. Your world was dangerous. Images showed early Earth storms, predators, fire, ice. You adapted not by strength, but by endurance. The enemy fleet regrouped, preparing a final strike aimed directly at the ancient core. A strike that could erase the ancients completely. The voice lowered. We fear you because you endure what should end you. The human stepped forward. Then let us help, he said. The ancients paused. How? The human closed his eyes. We have one more weapon, he said. Not ancient, not powerful. The council stared at him. What weapon? The leader demanded. The human opened his eyes. Sacrifice. Before anyone could stop him, the human activated a hidden command. Across the galaxy, human ships moved, not warships. Old colony vessels, civilian transports, outdated defense platforms. They formed a line, a human wall. They are positioning themselves between the enemy and the ancients. A strategist whispered in disbelief. They will be destroyed, someone shouted. The human's voice remained steady. We know, he said. The enemy fired. Human ships vanished in fire and light, but they slowed the attack. They bought time. The ancient powers watched. For the first time since they were sealed, something changed within them. Respect turned into resolve. You have not changed, the voice said. It's very well. The ancients acted, not with destruction, but with design. They reached into reality itself and began rewriting the battlefield. Space folded, time fractured. The enemy found themselves trapped inside shifting layers of existence. The galaxy held its breath. The war was no longer about power. It was about choice. Humanity had made theirs. And the ancient powers were about to make theirs. The battlefield no longer followed normal rules. Space twisted like liquid. Light bent into strange shapes. Time itself slowed and stretched as the ancient powers fully awakened. This was not a fleet. This was not an army. This was reality responding to beings older than reality itself. Across the galaxy, sensors failed. Maps lost meaning. Even stars seemed to move, pulled toward something far greater than gravity. The enemy fleet struggled inside the broken battlefield. Their ships shifted between positions, trapped in layers of folded space. Some appeared twice at once. Others flickered in and out of existence. For the first time since the war began, the enemy showed signs of panic. They fired blindly. Their weapons struck nothing, or struck themselves, but they did not surrender. They adapted. Dark symbols spread across enemy hulls. Their ships changed shape, growing sharp edges and glowing cores. They began to tear through the folded space, carving paths with raw force. They are breaking free again, council officer shouted. The ancient voice echoed through the chamber, calm but strained. They were built to resist us. This will not be easy. Human ships continued to burn. The human line was thinning fast. Old vessels shattered. Crews were lost. Names would never be recorded. But the humans did not retreat. Each second they survived gave the ancients more time. The council watched in horror and awe. They are dying for us, one alien leader whispered. No, the council leader replied slowly. They are dying for everyone. The ancient powers expanded their presence. Massive shapes emerged from the darkness, structures made of energy, thought, and ancient matter. Some were as large as star systems. Others were small but dense enough to bend space around them. They did not move like ships. They appeared where they were needed. Enemy vessels vanished, not destroyed, but removed. Cut away from space, locked inside pockets of nothing. Yet the ancients hesitated. They remembered. They remembered what happened last time they acted without limits. The human representative felt it. They're holding back, he said. Yes, the ancient voice answered. Because if we do not, everything ends. The enemy launched their final weapon. A wave of darkness spread outward, swallowing stars as it moved. Entire systems went silent as the wave passed through them. A weapon designed to erase existence itself. Even the ancient powers recoiled. The waves struck the battlefield. Human ships vanished instantly. The line broke. Silence followed. The enemy fleet surged forward, free once more. For a moment, it seemed the sacrifice had failed. The galaxy waited for the end. Then something unexpected happened. The darkness stopped, slowed, then fractured. The wave collapsed inward, folding back on itself like a dying star. The ancient powers had not blocked it. They had redirected it. The energy slammed into an empty region of space and vanished. The enemy fleet froze again. Yes. This time they could not move. The ancient voice returned, louder now. Now. This war ends now. The enemy responded. They sent a message. Their first message. It was cold, logical. Without emotion, we exist to end war. You protect its source, the ancient powers answered. You mistake life for war. The human representative stepped forward. War exists, he said, because life chooses to survive. The enemy paused. Processing. The pause was enough. The ancients acted together. They did not destroy the enemy. Unmade the battlefield. Space folded inward. Time locked. Reality sealed itself shut around the enemy fleet, trapping them outside normal existence. One by one, enemy ships disappeared, not in fire, but in silence. The galaxy breathed again. Stars stabilized. Space smoothed. Time resumed. The ancient powers began to withdraw. But something was wrong. Several ancient structures dimmed. Energy levels dropped fast. They're fading, a scientist said. They cannot stay awake much longer. The ancient voice sounded weaker. We have done what we can, fear returned. If they sleep again, someone said, what stops the enemy from returning? The human knew the answer. Stepped forward one last time. Then seal them, he said. Seal them where they can never return. The ancient powers hesitated. Such a prison requires a key. The human did not hesitate. Make it human, he said. The council gasped. A human key? The leader asked. That means, yes, the human replied. Only humanity can open it. Silence followed. The ancient voice softened. You accept this burden? We always have, the human said. The ancient powers moved. Reality closed around the enemy's prison, locking them beyond space and time. The final seal formed, marked with symbols shaped by human choice. The war was over. The ancient powers began to sleep again, retreating into the darkness beyond stars. Before they vanished completely, the voice spoke one last time. If we ever wake again, it will be because humanity failed. The chamber went silent. The galaxy had survived. Not because of strength, not because of power, because humanity chose responsibility. That choice would echo forever. The war was over, but the galaxy did not celebrate. Across thousands of systems, silence replaced fire. Broken fleets drifted through space. Burned worlds cooled slowly, carrying the scars of a war that nearly ended everything. The enemy was gone, sealed beyond reality itself. No signal, no movement, no return. Yet peace felt fragile. Inside the Galactic Council chamber, the leaders remained seated long after the final reports arrived. No one spoke. Victory did not feel like victory. It felt like survival. Holograms showed the cost. Entire civilizations erased. Billions lost. Star systems reduced to memory. And one statistic stunned everyone. Human losses were higher than any other species. Old colony ships. Civilian transports. Outdated defense platforms. They had formed the final line. They had not been strong. They had been willing. The council leader finally stood. Humanity saved us, he said quietly, and paid the highest price. Many leaders lowered their heads. Some felt shame. Others felt fear. Because now, humanity was no longer weak. They were responsible. The human representative stood near the chamber wall, looked tired, older. The weight of his choice had settled deep inside him. A council scientist approached. "The ancient seal is stable," she said. "The enemy cannot escape." The human nodded. "But," she continued carefully, "the key is human. As long as humans exist, the prison exists. And if humanity falls," the human asked. The scientist hesitated. "Then the seal fails." The truth spread quickly. The galaxy realized something terrifying. Humanity was now the lock holding back extinction. In the days that followed, the galaxy began to rebuild. Trade routes reopened. Refugees returned to damaged worlds. New alliances formed, not based on power, but trust. Everywhere, humans were treated differently. Alien leaders bowed to them. Military commanders asked for their advice. Scientists requested human oversight on ancient technology. Some humans accepted, others refused. "We did not save the galaxy to rule it," one human admiral said. "We saved it so it could live." But not everyone felt safe. In quiet chambers and hidden systems, fear grew. What if humans change? What if they decide to use the ancients? What if they fail? The ancient powers were going to, but their shadow remained. Deep within a sealed region of space, ancient energy pulsed faintly. The prison held and watched. The human representative returned to Earth. The planet had survived, but barely. Cities were damaged, spaceports destroyed. Memorials filled the streets. Names were carved into stone. Millions of them stood before a massive wall of light, listing every human ship lost in the final stand. He did not smile. A child approached him. "Did we win?" she asked. He knelt down. "Yes," he said. "But winning is not the same as being done." The child frowned. "Will they come back?" "Only if we forget who we are," he replied. Across the galaxy, new laws were written. No species could create weapons like the enemy. No one could research ancient-level reality control without human approval. No one, not even humanity, could awaken the ancient powers again. The rule was simple: never again. Years passed, but the galaxy healed. Humanity remained watchful. Then one day a signal appeared, not from the enemy, not from the ancients. From a distant system where a young species had just discovered faster-than-light travel. They were afraid. They were alone. They were weak. The Galactic Council debated. Some argued to ignore them. Others feared another war. The human representative, older, now stood once more. "We were once like them," he said. "And someone chose to help us." The council listened.
Help was sent.
Not fleets. Teachers. Doctors. Engineers. The galaxy began to change. Not through fear, but through guidance. Deep within the sealed prison, ancient forces observed quietly. They chose growth, one ancient mind whispered. "Yes," another replied. "That is why they must endure." Far away, human children looked up at the stars. They were told stories, not of gods, not of monsters, but of a moment when the galaxy fell. Humanity stood. The war was over. But humanity's duty had just begun. The galaxy entered a new age. It did not begin with celebration. It began with caution. Years passed after the war, and the sealed prison remained silent. No enemy signals appeared. No ancient energy spikes followed. The stars stayed calm. But no one forgot. Across the galaxy, civilizations rebuilt slowly. Some worlds never recovered. Others became symbols of survival. Memorial stations were built in empty space where fleets had vanished without warning. Humanity changed the most. They did not expand aggressively. They did not build massive empires. They did not claim power. They watched. The seal holding the enemy was hidden beyond maps and guarded by systems only humans could activate. It's not by force, but by consent. The key was not a device. It was a choice, passed from generation to generation. On Earth, the human representative, now known simply as the Watcher, stood before a council of humans. Scientists, leaders, and civilians listened as he spoke. "We are not heroes," he said. "We're caretakers." Some argued. "We deserve more," they said. "The galaxy owes us." The Watcher shook his head. "The galaxy trusted us," he replied. "That is heavier than reward. Far away in the quiet place beyond reality, the ancient powers observed. They did not sleep fully. They waited. They did not seek control. One ancient presence said. No, another answered. They chose burden. The ancients remembered many civilizations. Most, when given power, had taken it. Humanity had not. Decades later, the galaxy faced a crisis, not a war. Collapse. A massive star cluster began to destabilize. Entire systems were at risk of being pulled into a chain reaction of destruction. The energy involved was greater than any known technology could handle. The Galactic Council panicked. Some whispered the forbidden words. Awaken the ancients. The debate spread like fire. If the ancients were called again, the crisis would end instantly. But the cost. The human delegation stood in silence. Finally, a young human scientist spoke. There is another way, she said. It was slower, riskier, harder. It required cooperation between dozens of species, shared resources, shared trust. The council hesitated. Then the Watcher spoke for the last time. We did not survive the war by choosing the easy path, he said. We survived by choosing the right one. The ancient powers listened and said nothing. The galaxy worked together. Ships from rival species flew side by side. Engineers shared secrets once guarded for centuries. The crisis was stopped, not with ancient power, but with unity. For the first time in history, the galaxy solved a threat without war. The ancient powers withdrew further into silence. They no longer need us, one ancient presence said. That was always the goal, another replied. Time continued. Humanity aged. The Watcher passed away quietly, surrounded by family, his duty fulfilled. His final words were recorded, not as a command, but as a reminder. Power fades. Choice remains. Centuries later, humanity still guarded the seal, not with fear, with memory. Children were taught this story not as a legend, but as responsibility, that the galaxy once fell, that humanity stood, that survival did not come from dominance, but from endurance. One day long into the future, a signal echoed faintly near the sealed prison. Not an escape, not a threat, a question. The ancient powers stirred one last time. Are they ready? One asked. The answer came not from the ancients, but from the galaxy itself. Peace, balance, choice. The signal faded. The prison remained sealed. The ancient powers slept at last. Humanity looked to the stars not as rulers, not as gods, but as guardians who chose to endure. And the galaxy, for the first time, truly lived.